actually third. So we're going to try this one more time.
Justice Department cannot be expected to investigate itself. It's very important to note that the ranks of the DOJ and FBI are filled with amazing, patriotic Americans who love their job, take their oaths seriously, and perform their jobs objectively with much respect for the rule of law. These are historic, legendary agencies that require transparency and accountability regarding the misconduct that took place. It is important for these exceptional public servants and these important agencies to continue their work moving forward stronger than ever before. As the resolution states, the concerns of the American people are serious, and the issues requiring an immediate, unbiased, independent, and thorough investigation are broad. In just the past few days, we learned that the DOJ, FBI, or both, appeared to have planted at least one person into Donald Trump's presidential campaign to infiltrate and surveil the campaign. This action alone reminds us of just how necessary this resolution is, as well as the appointment of a second special counsel. First, we will discuss some of the misconduct related to how and why the Hillary Clinton email probe ended. Then we will get into details related to the FISA abuse that took place. And finally, we will discuss the misconduct with regard to the how and why the Donald Trump Russia probe began. With regards to Secretary Clinton, federal law and State Department rules, regulations, and protocol were violated with her use of a private email server in her Chappaqua, New York home. Official communications were transmitted on an unsecured server and included emails that contained classified information when they were sent, in addition to other emails which were retroactively deemed classified by the Department of State.
All right, you know what pisses me off more than anything about all of this is shit that we've known for a year. And I hope that it's going through the right channels and the right lines to get things handled, because it's irritating that we have all known this for a year.
Former FBI Director James Comey has acknowledged that 65 of these illicit emails were classified as secret and 22 were classified as top secret. There's significant evidence that the use of this private server by Secretary Clinton was meant to avoid compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S.C. 552, and done to obstruct justice by not having to turn over incriminating emails in the case of a subpoena. Various sensitive emails subject to grand jury and congressional subpoenas were destroyed on Secretary Clinton's private server through the use of BleachBit software and the destruction of hardware before they could be obtained by investigators in March 2015. In a September 2015 meeting between then Attorney General Loretta Lynch and then Director Comey, the Attorney General instructed Director Comey to refer to the Clinton email investigation as a matter, thus watering down the severity of the investigation and aligning the Justice Department's rhetoric with the messaging of the Clinton campaign. Cheryl Mills, who served as counselor and chief of staff to Hillary Clinton during her tenure as Secretary of State, was offered immunity from prosecution in exchange for access to her laptop that contained many of the questionable emails. According to transcripts obtained by the Senate Judiciary Committee, former Director Comey was prepared to exonerate Hillary Clinton as early as April or May of 2016 when he began to draft a statement announcing the end of his investigation before up to 17 key witnesses, including Secretary Clinton herself and several of her closest aides, were even interviewed. Comey contradicted these transcripts when he stated during sworn testimony before the House Judiciary Committee on September 28, 2016, that he made the decision not to recommend criminal charges for Secretary Clinton after she was interviewed by the FBI on July 2, 2016. Director Comey, in the final draft of his statement, allowed FBI agent Peter Strzok to replace grossly negligent, which is legally punishable under federal law, with extremely careless, which is not legally punishable under federal law. Federal law states gross negligence in handling the nation's intelligence can be punished criminally with prison time or fines. There's also the June 27, 2016 infamous meeting between A.G. Lynch and former President Bill Clinton aboard her plane on the tarmac of Phoenix, Arizona. Immediately thereafter, Hillary Clinton was exonerated. On July 5, 2016, Director Comey violated DOJ rules and unilaterally exonerated then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in a public statement to the media. One day later, on July 6, 2016, an announcement followed from A.G. Lynch that the DOJ investigation into then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton would be formally closed with no charges. In September 2016, the FBI, during examination of the personal laptop of former Congressman Anthony Weiner as part of an unrelated investigation into him sending sexually explicit messages to a teenage girl, discovered previously unexamined Department of State classified emails belonging to his spouse, top Clinton aide Huma Abedin. It took until October 28th of 2016
Okay, so this is the part where he left out. And I think this is why my actual video clip got censored off of either YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. I don't know which one. It doesn't really matter. The point in all of this is that the New York Police Department, when they confiscated Anthony Weiner's Anthony Weiner's laptop contained a video on it. I don't have enough time to go through all of this again, but the New York City Police Department confiscated Anthony Weiner's laptop. It contained the Uma Aberdeen Hillary Clinton video on it, and it was entitled Life Insurance. The New York City Police examined the laptop, found the video, were disgusted by it, and 2 of the officers were executed. The latest, and God bless her and her family, I don't mean to sound insensitive, because if only they could talk and have their stories told, wow. But the latest officer was laid to rest in, I think it was about approximately in or around 2 to 3 weeks ago. And the president actually went. I wish I could show the video. I don't have enough time. But the police commissioner himself stated that the officer was assassinated. And that was a message to the deep state that we know what you did. And our officer was executed because of the fact that she saw what she saw on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Now, there's lots of speculation going around about that. I'm not going to say anything about it, but the truth is going to come out.
16. For Director Comey to announce via a letter to the chairs of the relevant congressional committees that he was reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton. An additional egregious delay after the FBI failed to even examine the illicit emails after the FBI discovered them on Anthony Weiner's computer. FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe's wife, Dr. Jill McCabe, was running for Virginia State Senate at the time, and as of October 26th, had received $675,000 in donations from the Virginia Democratic Party and Common Good VA, the leadership PAC controlled by Democratic Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a longtime Clinton associate. An investigation conducted by the Office of the DOJ Inspector General noted that on October 27th of 2016, Director Comey required that Deputy Director McCabe remove himself from a conference call regarding the Clinton emails discovered on Anthony Weiner's laptop to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest after media reports surfaced noting those questionable political donations. Further investigation into whether then FBI Deputy Director McCabe and other FBI officials sought to purposely delay the release of these illicit emails for politically motivated purposes is warranted. Throughout the Obama administration, the DOJ failed to fully investigate serious concerns surrounding former President Clinton, then Secretary of State Clinton, and the Clinton Foundation's connection to the Russian company Uranium One, which received Department of State approval to purchase U.S. uranium mines in 2010. Throughout Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State, a family foundation controlled by the chairman of Uranium One made $2,350,000 in contributions to the Clinton Foundation, which were not publicly disclosed, in violation of an agreement Secretary Clinton had with the Obama White House to publicly identify all donors. In 2010, while Russian state interests were working to both acquire a majority stake in Uranium One and to purchase American mines, Bill Clinton was paid $500,000 for a speech in Moscow by a Kremlin-linked Russian investment bank that was underwriting Uranium One stock. A confidential informant who worked with the FBI to uncover bribery and other corruption related to the Uranium One matter was threatened with reprisal by the Justice Department under A.G. Lynch when he tried to come forward in 2016. The Senate Judiciary Committee launched a probe in October 2017 to investigate the Uranium One matter, including whether federal departments and agencies such as the Department of State knew the FBI was looking into possible corruption before the deal was approved. An investigation conducted by the Office of the Inspector General noted that a multi-state investigation into the questionable dealings of the Clinton Foundation with corrupt donors was shut down in August of 2016, when pressure was asserted on the FBI by senior officials within the Obama Justice Department. The same IG's report also noted that shutting down this investigation into Clinton Foundation impropriety and influence peddling was connected to high-ranking officials in the DOJ and FBI, including AG Lynch, Director Comey, and Deputy Director McCabe. The same IG's report also found that Deputy Director McCabe, after consenting to the political pressure to shut down the Clinton Foundation multi-state investigation, attempted to later use unauthorized leaks to the press to create a false narrative that he was opposed to the closure of the investigation, that he did this in an attempt to salvage his reputation following revelations of questionable Clinton-connected money being donated to his wife's Virginia State Senate campaign. With regards to FISA abuse, in October 2016, the FBI and DOJ used
I think I've almost heard enough. That is like, I'll let you listen to the rest of this, but I'm going to guarantee you the list goes on and on and on and on. This is a very comprehensive statement. It's huge. So with that being said, and it just gets worse for them. So the clowns that cut me off and everything else, here's a little something extra.
Commentary. This is Headlines with a Voice.
President Donald Trump left a meeting Monday with FBI Director Christopher Wray and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein with an agreement on future steps to facilitate the release of Russia probe documents to Congress. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said that the men agreed that the White House Chief of Staff, General John Kelly, will immediately set up a meeting with the FBI, the DOJ, and the Director of National Intelligence, together with congressional leaders to review highly classified and other information that they've requested. House Intelligence Committee Republicans, led by Chairman Devin Nunes, House Intelligence Committees to review highly classified and other information that they've requested. To review highly classified and other information that they've requested. To review highly classified and other information that they've requested.
Highly classified information. This is what this is about. Rod Rosenstein had every opportunity to reveal the highly classified information. And that highly classified information implicated a lot of people. All the way back to the Obama administration. The highly classified information that they're talking about in the previous video I just showed you covered the most comprehensive entrapment of individuals from the Mueller investigation that I could possibly imagine. The entrapment was not the Trump administration. The entrapment was themselves. They entrapped themselves. That's really what happened. It came full circle. And POTUS tweeted about it. I don't have enough time to cover this information is huge. It's massive. It encompasses so many agencies. We're not even done with this yet. This is the complete draining of the actual swamp. the SES, CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, the FAC. My God, it encompasses almost every agency and those SES people that are on point for those agencies. So what Trump did was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. So what we're seeing is the complete draining of the swamp. Hence why there's 30,000 secret indictments and growing. In layman's terms. So, again, it's late. I don't have a lot of time to go in all the points, but bear with me. I'll definitely make another video about this. And so today on Twitter, I put, so Rod Rosenstein won't give the information requested by Congress in regards corruption of the DOJ and FBI, you say? Well, think again. It's called an EO, Executive Order, and it's already been signed, a-holes. Q sent us. And there's the pen on the executive order demanding all of the information be given. I hope this video gets out, and I hope that most of you take a look at this video and understand what the scope is. It's massive. I don't have that much time this evening, but I will go back into it again. And I hope that Q posts on this again. But it looks to me as though they are going to corral on multi-points and multi-levels the deep state. And the deep state knows that it's almost out. Their time is up. Enjoy, and God bless everybody. Hang on, grab your popcorn, because the show has just begun.
Okay, yeah. I take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. I know a lot of people are trying to do a lot of good and trying to, do what they can. But, looking at everything that I've looked at with Q, hey, a lot of good stuff. But ever since the beginning, almost everything that he ever dropped was stuff that I had already known about. That most of it I've already known about. Especially lately. Just dropping, common sense stuff. So that's been kind of interesting. I guess that'll be what it will be. I've just been kind of having an issue when, realizing and looking into stuff that it almost seems like we just got, data mined more than anything is what it seems to be. I'm just doing this live stream, just trying to mess around and see what the heck I can get going.
Hey, internet friends.
Who's ever on?
3.8 million babies were born in the United States.
Oh, this one's good. Who's ever on, give me a thumbs up, say something. But I'm going to throw it over onto this really quick. This is very interesting. I think it's very watching.
States, which might sound like quite a few, but 2017 marked the lowest number of births in 30 years. Experts claim they were baffled as to why Hey, internet friends. Last year, 3.8 million babies were born in the United States, which might sound like quite a few, but 2017 marked the lowest number of births in 30 years. Experts claim we're baffled as to why fertility rates have plummeted. So, let's give it a go, shall we? If we examine the events of the past and follow the breadcrumb trail to the present, would we arrive at a grim glimpse of the future? Would we observe the health of the 99% being sacrificed for the wealth of the 1%? Or would we see a larger agenda begin to emerge, one that has spanned centuries? The agenda to hijack human reproduction? The agenda of total and complete control? Well, let's see. war, plague, famine. Throughout history, these events have served as a means of significantly influencing the population, but none of these events transformed the family unit quite like the Industrial Revolution, which took place across Europe and America between the 18th and 19th centuries, marking the shift to primarily agrarian and rural societies to industrial and urban societies. Pre-revolution, the family units were production units. Everyone in the household, extended family included, contributed to the family economy. More children meant more production and a more successful family economy, and all of the child care took place within the household. But all of that changed when families couldn't keep up with the production of machines. Therefore, the family economy suffered, forcing mom, dad, and the children, not the extended family, to move to urban areas and work in factories. And this is how families made the shift from being producers to becoming consumers, no longer working for the goal of sustaining the family economy. But the goal then became earning a higher standard of living on an individual level. So while the Industrial Revolution created new technologies and beneficial advancements, the success of the revolution was contingent upon exploiting human labor, forcing families to live in atrocious conditions, thereby altering the relationships between family members forever, with children being viewed as a burden rather than a blessing due to the financial strain. The revolution presented the opportunity for a powerful few to control all of the industry, meaning that the financial divide between social classes continued to widen, which created the environment for modern finance to take root, with its predatory practice of usury as well as its central banking format. There was and is a lot of money to be made off the producer-turned-consumer family unit and their life's work as debt slaves. But more on that later. 2 world wars, an influenza that spread like wildfire, as well as forced sterilization amongst groups eugenicists dubbed undesirable, these events had detrimental effects on the world's population. But post-World War II America experienced a boom. A baby boom, more specifically. After 16 years of depression and war, Americans were eager to start families and pursue the elusive American dream of prosperity and freedom. That dream was almost tangible for a time, with the mass production of detached homes, allowing Americans to own their homes and land so they could raise families in the suburbs. Along with the birth rate, the economy was also booming, and the head of the household, the father, typically held a job that provided enough income to purchase a home, perhaps even a vehicle, and allowed mothers to stay at home with their children. However, the women's liberation movement of the 1960s and 70s developed out of the civil rights movement, and it provided a platform for collaborative efforts between feminists and trade unionists. The stated goal of WLM was to challenge the patriarchy and treatment of women as second-class citizens. And while all that sounds fine and dandy, the WLM targeted the working class, meaning the women who formerly stayed home with children were encouraged to pursue a career, which yielded in another stream of taxable income per family, and an opportunity for the government and television to raise the children while their parents were working, and for companies to introduce convenience where time was a commodity. And it's not like they've hidden the depopulation agenda. If control is the end goal, certainly a smaller population is easier to control than a large one. The mysterious Georgia Guidestones Monument was erected in 1980, engraved with a commandment regarding population control, to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And while we don't know exactly who built it, it's rumored to have been built by billionaire media mogul and CNN founder Ted Turner, who would later go on to urge world leaders to adopt China's one-child policy, partnering up with the Rockefeller family, Bill Gates, George Soros, Warren Buffett, and even Oprah to discuss shrinking the world's population. Originally founded by another eugenicist, Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood began lobbying in Washington, D.C. within the last several decades. Their primary function is to offer abortions as well as other forms of birth control. And all of this was taking place while Americans began living more sedentary lifestyles than ever before, consuming processed and genetically modified foods made from crops sprayed with pesticides that were produced by the same government partner, Monsanto, who helped create the atom bomb, Agent Orange, and a series of banned chemicals that were proven to cause cancer. Abortion has become normalized while the notion of the family has become demonized, or at least framed as tired and stale by the media. The television programs that were once riddled with storylines that appealed to the average American, showcasing sitcoms starring families transformed over time, promoting suspended adolescence, sexual promiscuity, narcissism, as well as the bachelor and cat lady lifestyles. Propaganda targeted at women went from offering advice on love, family, and self-care to glamorizing the concept of the career-oriented woman who waited till later in life to start a family, if at all. The media waged war on motherhood, on fatherhood, and on the innocence of children. It only worsened with the introduction of computers and handheld devices, where generations of the past were out making friends, getting married, having sex, and producing offspring in their prime. The young adults of today have largely replaced that essential in-person interaction with screen time. Their social interaction is achieved by posting on social media. Romance is ignited by swiping through a selection of strangers on apps like Tinder, and sexual desire is fulfilled by watching pornography. And unlike past generations, the type of sex being promoted through our media is not only promiscuity between men and women, but being heavily promoted and on the forefront is the LGBT movement. The rainbow agenda is everywhere. Women, African Americans, immigrants, the LGBT community, these marginalized groups that have sought equality and freedom from discrimination, these are folks who are always used for propaganda. And the fact is, the main function of sex is reproduction. And you aren't getting a whole lot of reproduction if women are having sex with other women, and men are having sex with other men, which is not just accepted, which is one thing. It's intensely promoted. Transgenderism is celebrated, and then all of it is normalized through the public school systems. When you consider the evolving gender roles the family unit has endured throughout recent history, along with a change in behavioral norms, it's no surprise that birth rates are down to their lowest numbers in 30 years. The majority of young couples are strapped with debt either from student loans or from a lifestyle they cannot afford, and that affects their decision whether or not to have children. But birth rates are a total separate thing from fertility. One is a result of personal choice. One is not. Can the rise in infertility be attributed to factors like diet and lifestyle? 1 in 6 couples struggle with fertility. It's been reported that the average American woman today has 30,000 to 50,000 chemicals in her body that her grandparents did not have. But the chemicals we're exposed to on the daily don't just affect women. They affect male fertility too. The most commonly used herbicide in the U.S., atrazine, can be found in the soil, in the rainwater, and even in our drinking water. It's sprayed on half of all cornfields in the U.S. And what is a staple of the U.S. diet? Livestock is fed the GMO corn that's sprayed with the atrazine. People eat the animals, and corn syrup can be found in a number of our processed foods. The EU actually banned atrazine because of suspicions of health problems, but powerful lobbyists kept the atrazine flowing in the United States, even though it had been shown in animals to reduce male fertility by as much as 50%, as well as induce prostate cancer. And female rodents had a high correlation of reduced abortions and breast cancer from exposure. But other factors like obesity, smoking, stress, and sedentary lifestyles, these have all been linked to decreases in sperm count and quality. And shockingly, sperm counts fell between 50% and 60% between 1973 and 2011. If we look to the future, where widespread infertility persists as an issue, along with the general lack of interest in starting a family, what will happen? More and more children will be conceived through unnatural means like IVF. The fertility industry will thrive, but the rate of reproduction will not be enough to replace the current workforce. But through our media and our entertainment, and even through new products like the Amazon Echo Dot for children, we've been conditioned to accept the idea of robots replacing humans. So much so that robots are now receiving their own rights, normal human rights. If you stare into the abyss with me, the outlook is pretty bleak. If there is an agenda to hijack human reproduction, and we see the plot unfolding in front of us, at what point will we say enough is enough? Let me know what you think, internet friends. You know I always look forward to your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!
That's what this is. All right.